Bonine 52, how are you folks? I was going to start off by giving you this great introduction to my Road King Classic. But you all like Buster so much that we got to give Buster a bet, don't we? Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Alrighty, folks. You know what? I'll tell you what, it is super cool to have an older motorcycle. This happens to be a 2000 Road King Classic. Goes by the name of Duke. And there's so many good things about having an older motorcycle. But there's some bad, too. Let's take them for a rip. Well, if you are new to the channel, meet Duke. He's my 2000 Road King Classic. Had him just over a year now, and I flat out love this motorcycle. But you gotta look at the good and the bad in anything, right? Especially as you buy an older used bike, it's not all good, right? But if you think that I'm going to give you a long list of what's bad about buying an older motorcycle or about this old Road King and not give you 5 times as many good things, you may want to click off right now, because that's how it goes with this bike. So let me tell you my take on having an older motorcycle. So I have a big dresser, which is my other motorcycle. And I really bought Duke, one, because I wanted a Road King, an older Road King, and 2, because I wanted something to do kind of shorter rides with, not any touring or anything like that. So I was able to pick up Duke and really have had some time with him now, and really just been a super motorcycle for me. And I'm going to tell you all the reasons why, but let's start with the bad. Now, let's start with the challenged. How's that? The first thing is, if you are non-mechanical, so for me, I can change the fluids, do a bunch of cosmetic stuff, anything big, tires, anything, with the motor, I got to take it in. I got to take it into a mechanic to get it worked on and pay those fees to do that. And hey, that's on me. But that's something you got to realize when you buy an older motorcycle. So that to me is the first thing. The second thing is, unless you get it checked out, you're really not sure what was done to it before you. Now, I happen to have a new Road Glide, so I know everything that has been done so far and will be done to that motorcycle, and there's an advantage to that. Now, it surely appears that the folks, the 2 guys that had this motorcycle before me, I am the 3rd owner, really took care of it. And when I bought the bike, there's a lot of standard things you do. You ride the bike, you check the oil, you check the tires, all the stuff that you kind of do if you're a non-mechanic to go, okay, does this bike look like it's okay, right? Or does it look like it has any major problems? So you got a little bit of a risk there, no doubt, right? I think the other thing is, and I do some touring with my wife, and some trips with some friends. So if you were going to take this motorcycle on a 500-mile day trip, you're going to feel it. But to me, it's not, obviously doesn't have the storage room, but it is not as comfortable, obviously, as a Road Glide or a big dresser, right? And hey, that's fine. That's kind of why I bought it. I wanted it to be different. I wanted an older bike. I wanted nostalgia, all that stuff, right? And so that is a potential negative to the bike, right? All right, so sit back. Let me tell you all the really cool things. Now, whether you think this is a positive or a negative, it shakes. It's got that Harley rumble. I personally love that. You got that feel when you ride this motorcycle. Now, it has the stage 1 on it. There's Reinhardt exhaust on it, so it has a little bit extra. But I'll tell you what, it's got that Harley rumble. It's got that old school feel. Now, if you don't like a motorcycle that shakes, then you may not want to do this. And we'll be able to tell how much I like it because I mounted a rear camera on the bike today, and I'm wondering if it's going to shake off or not. So that would be called the $200 experiment. For sure, right? So we will see on that. I personally, when you're sitting at a stop sign like this, you got a little shake. It's perfect. It's perfect to me, right? Now, of course, this bike is a 5-speed. So it is, and obviously does not have anywhere close to what the Milwaukee 8 is now. I have a 114, so, but it's 200-300 pounds lighter, right? So at times it just feels like it actually handles better, if that makes sense. Now, maybe that's indicative of a lighter bike, and I just haven't had a lot of those. But it feels light, so it feels like you can really, I hate to use the word whip it around, right? Especially when you're in some twisties and stuff like that. So you got to be careful with the braking and stuff like that because, you know, the newer bikes come equipped for, I hate to say idiot-proof, but idiot-proof, right? So, but this bike has been fantastic for me. Really, I have not had that many problems with it. I put new tires on it. I had the cam tensioners changed, so if you're getting ready to ask that question, let me rephrase that. I had them looked at, and they were in good shape, so I am good to go there. But it's just been an extremely fun bike. I don't ride this as my go-to rider, and I really should, because when I go out in times like this, I just go, oh my God, I love this bike. Especially on a day today. It's 70 degrees. I prefer not to have the windscreen out or on the motorcycle so I can feel a little bit of that air. I did close my shield just so I can make sure that the audio on this video was good. But I'll tell you what, most of the time it's up, and I just take that wind, take whatever comes to you without having a windshield. But it's just been fantastic. Really kept it as stock as possible. Obviously, there's a stage 1 on it, so I really have not done anything to this bike other than get a 20,000 mile checkup on it. It has 24, almost 25,000 miles on it now. And I did throw some new tires on there because they were original tires, even though they looked good. So, but it is definitely a fun bike. And if you follow my channel, you'll know I've done a video on this bike before, right? On how much I love the bike and really, why I bought it and all that stuff. And I'll link actually my Road King, all my Road King videos. I'll put a link to that at the end, so you can check out all that on a playlist. But it has just been so fun to ride. And it is extremely comfortable. Believe it or not, this is a stock seat, and it feels really good. Now, will it feel real good if I rode it, 500 miles in a day? Maybe not so much, right? But it just has that light feel. Easy to get on and off if that happens to be important for you. It's not like getting a dresser out of the garage. You can really wheel this thing out, get on it easy, and just go with it, right? So extremely comfortable, and just like I said, a riot. I really bought the bike because of the look of it, and I'll show you a little walk around of Duke. But it is just super fun, and I don't know if it's, I'm fortunate to have an older bike and a newer bike. I don't know if it's just having, differences of two bikes. Now, I would say that if I could only have one bike and money wasn't an option, right? I probably, if I was going to continue to tour and do trips, want to get a bigger dresser, especially if with Mrs. Bodine riding, excuse me. Obviously, if she was going to ride this, I wouldn't. But if I was not doing any of that and I was just ride the bike around town, have fun, do 300 or 400 mile trips, that type of stuff, I would rather have the Road King. There's just no doubt about that. And obviously advantage of it's much less expensive, right? You can find these used bikes. I looked for this bike for a year. I was looking for used Road Kings for a while, and in one of those videos that'll be at the end, you can hear the story in there. But I basically got it for just about $4,000. There's some trade and stuff involved in it, but so it's nice and inexpensive, right? Less to insure, all that stuff. But just super fun. If you were thinking about getting an older bike and you're thinking about getting an older bike for your first one and then trading it in, you may find that you better find 2 places in your garage for 2 bikes, because this thing and older bikes are pretty sweet. Now, I know a lot of folks won't even buy a new bike. Why pay for all the upgrades and the depreciation, all that? There's something to be said about having something from the beginning. But I'll tell you what, I have zero regret that I bought this motorcycle. And I'm glad I have an older bike. There's no doubt about it. It has a lot of character. It just rides like a champ, too. And the old look with the white walls and the big headlight and, no windshield, none of that stuff just makes it feel right, if that makes sense. So, well, folks, I'm just going to continue to ride on this motorcycle. No radio, no GPS, no nothing. Just enjoy the road, beautiful road as it is, and the motorcycle. And thanks for checking in the channel. Again, I know that there's been a ton of people join the Bodine 52 family over the last 30 or 60 days. Welcome. Hope to get out and ride, do some more and make some more content for you on this, because every time I get out and ride this, and I haven't in a while, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Get out and ride that thing more. That's the plan. Thanks, folks. Be safe. Be vigilant. Make sure you check on a friend, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.